Hey everyone, my name is Corv and welcome back to my channel. Before I get started with the rest of the video, I want to start off with a big disclaimer. I do not have any experience with game programming and have very little understanding of how bots work on a technical level. So, my opinions are going to be based solely off my personal experience. With that out of the way, let's hop right in. Side note, this is going to be more of a talking video and less of a watching video because there isn't really much to watch when observing bots. But I do have some footage of me sitting in North Vern, which is currently overrun with bots. So let's get into the real question. Why doesn't Amazon do anything about bots? Now I've divided this into basically 5 parts. So the first part is, how bad is it? And the simple answer is, it's really bad right now. There are tons of posts all over the forums about bots, and a bunch of content creators from Asmongold to Saiwo have made videos about them. There's an estimated 150 to 200,000 bots right now in the game. That number is insane and honestly a little embarrassing. The game takes 5 minutes to load, mostly because of an easy anti-cheat. Yet, clearly this easy anti-cheat isn't stopping bots from playing the game. If the bot estimation number is correct, there are about 1/3 of the player base. That means that 1/3 of the player base isn't even real players, which is extremely concerning and is proof that the situation has gotten completely out of hand. Now, moving on from how bad is it, how is botting hurting the game or negatively impacting the game? So, for one, it feels awful having all of these characters, basically only berserkers or sorceresses, running around with randomly generated names, and you know that it isn't a real person. And you see them in giant clusters, and it makes you feel so helpless because they're running, they're clipping through walls, they're entering chaos dungeons, they're talking to NPCs, and you see them all running this exact same path constantly in these huge groups, and you just have to sit there and be able to do nothing about it. And it's like, well, this sucks because you feel helpless, and that helpless feeling to see your game that you love being run over by bots and being helpless about doing anything, it's not a good feeling, to say the least. Moving on from that, bots are also having a negative impact on the economy. The more bots there are to generate materials and gold, the less valuable your materials become, and the less things you can get for the same amount of gold. So, the negative impact on the economy has definitely been felt. I know a lot of people feel like they are going through this big gold drought. I know a lot of it is also due to players catching up from the earlier tiers to tier 3, and especially with the express pass and things like that. But the bots are not helping by artificially putting way more materials into the economy than there naturally would be. So, increasing the supply by so much, therefore lowering the price of the product or of the materials, which means you make less money when you're selling them. Furthermore, some of the North American West servers are having queues of over 5,000 because the bots are taking up so much space on the servers. This means that the bots are making actual players be unable to play and have to wait to enter the game. And thank God I'm not on NA West, because if I had to wait in a queue because of bots, I would be so furious. And I guess I am upset for those players because it's awful to have to go through that. I mean, I'm kind of a degenerate as of recently, and I play the game all day, so that wouldn't really impact me that much. But if you have a family and kids and a wife, husband, whatever, and you only get to play an hour or two a day, and an hour of that is taken up by waiting in a queue, it's basically unacceptable. So, moving on of how it's hurting the game, are there any upsides? Now, the simple answer is no, there are no upsides to having bots. However, me trying to be the optimist that I am, I think that if I do want to try to look at the current situation in a positive lens, a potential upside is that the extreme artificial player count inflation might get more real players involved in the game. People enjoy playing games that a lot of other people are playing. So if someone goes onto the most played Steam games right now and they see Lost Ark with super high numbers without knowing much about the game, they may be, incentivized to play just based off the numbers. Now I know that that's not probably going to be that many people, but it does make the game look good by having this large player count. But I want to switch focus and investigate what Amazon has currently attempted to do to try to fix this bot problem. So the first thing that Amazon did was they removed gold rewards from earlier quests, which did literally nothing to stop the bots. And most recently, what they did was they announced that they're banning the use of VPNs, or trying to at least, to combat botting. So if you look at Steam charts still, this clearly did nothing to stop the bots, and it's only hurting actual players trying to play the game from countries with no official servers. There are tons of forum posts about, hey, I'm not a bot, I just want to play your game, and now I can't, which sucks. It really does, because I remember wanting to play Lost Ark so badly and not being able to, so I do really feel for those actual players who are no longer getting to play the game. So, long story short, Amazon has done jack to actually fix the problem. So, now I want to take a minute to go over my potential ideas for what Amazon could do. Like I said in my disclaimer, I don't really know how coding works, and I have no idea how difficult it would be to implement these changes, but here's just me spitballing. So, to my knowledge, all of the bots run the exact same way to and from every NPC without stopping or deviating. This is clearly not player behavior, as players won't always take the most efficient route for hours and hours in an exact straight line. Is there a reason they can't detect and permanently ban accounts that do this? I just don't understand why it is so hard to track a bot from a non-bot player, because it's so obvious that all of the bots run the exact same path in the exact same order. Even if a regular player is going to do the main story quests in order, they're not going to run this exact specific way every time. So I feel like it would be a good idea to maybe track that. Another idea that I know isn't actually feasible, but I just wish would make me happy, would be to hire GMs and just start perma-banning bot accounts. Just have a GM sit in Vern and look at all the bots and just insta-delete their accounts, like, non-stop. And I know that it would be impossible to manually ban hundreds of thousands of accounts, but I think it would make me feel really good. A funny idea I have would just be to make every person do the I'm not a robot CAPTCHA test to log in. like in the game client, make some sort of I'm not a robot that you have to do to play, which could get annoying when you're trying to log in, but obviously bots can't do that. So that would be a funny idea. But ultimately, the idea that I think is most realistic would probably be like a multi-factor verification process. I'm not completely sure how other regions work, but I know it's really hard to play on the Korean servers because you need to have a Korean phone number to do so. So why can't we do the same thing in the West? I feel like either a phone number verification or something like that would definitely help combat all the bots. So that's it. That's pretty much a summary of what's going on right now regarding bots in Lost Ark. I'd love to know your thoughts and ideas. And thank you so much for listening. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.